Hi everyone, welcome. So, constellations work is not like talk therapy because we actually say very little about the issue that you're wanting to explore. And the reason is because we know what we know and we have a narrative about it. And when we share that narrative, we're basically informing people how to think about what we're talking about. And we are one perspective. And now, as a group, we're this many people's perspectives. So our one perspective does have information. It knows a lot about a situation, but it can't possibly have all the information. There's only one place that has all the information, and we call that in constellations work, we call that the knowing field with a capital K. And the knowing field is the unified field of everything. In scientific terms. In a religious, there's lots of words for it in all the different religions. It's basically the great supreme all. In the yin-yang circle, that's so classic and well-known, you can see it in your head right now, you have the two different shapes that are constantly in balance and overtaking, but the part of that symbol that's the most overlooked is the circle around those two shapes. Because that's the hardest concept to convey in that symbol, which is everything is included. So that circle is the closest we can get visually to a concept that is inconceivable when you just have your one perspective mind, your brain. Your brain is two brains, it's split. It's literally two parts. And so you are in a debate conversation with yourself all the time. And that conversation is always about what is true and what is not true. So what is true exists in this world. And the other part of the conversation is asking if that's true. And that conversation is very painful to have. And living a medicine way, living in a spiritual connection is basically deciding you're not going to have that conversation anymore. Reality exists, it's true, and we can find it. We can know what it is. It might be difficult, but it's there. And that's the knowing field. And it's a library. And you are going to look something up today. You can look anything you want up. Anything at all. I am a librarian, and I will go and look up the coordinates for what you want. I'll go get the book and put it in this. And so then we'll start to read what the book is saying and talking about, and together we will determine, well, what do you see happening here? And then we will collectively find what's true about what you want to look at. I'm not a leader in the traditional sense. I'm a facilitator because the leadership in constellations work is circular. So sometimes you will know, and the knowing travels. And we call that the healing movement. Healing is movement. There's no way to stop. So you're always moving towards an expansion because we live in an expanding universe. And we are constantly discovering what's becoming. And you've all come here because you want to learn something about yourselves and each other. And it's the same thing. Because when I learn about you, I learn about myself. And there's that, African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So there's something that happens in constellations work that's called phenomenological experiences. So we will be entering into a dialogue conversation, and something in the world will happen, and it will be part of the conversation. And we will try to refrain from putting language to it. Those two halves of the brain, one is verbal and one is nonverbal, and our culture completely demands that we live in the verbal brain. The Western westernized world feels very uncomfortable in the nonverbal. If I were to stop talking now, it would cause, we don't like that. It's like, fill the silence. So we want to constantly describe what's going on and locate certainty. Constellations work helps us not need that certainty verbally, and to experience it and know. It's the knowing field. We are becoming part of the ability to simply know. And what's true needs no defense. So we don't need to put words to what we know. If it's known, I don't need to talk about it. And so we're going to experience a variety of situations that people will be bringing from their family system. A family system is a phenomenon of the cosmos. Your family system is a unique, majestic flower like nobody else's. There's only your family system and your family system. Two people came together throughout time, very specific, and it led to you. And they are behind you and around you and in you. They make you up. And disconnecting from your origins is extremely painful. And when you don't even know you've been disconnected from your origins, you don't even know you're in pain. And you just function from pain. And you don't understand why all your efforts to address something in your life isn't, relieving itself, because it didn't start with you. You were born into a context, and you were raised by people who had beliefs because they were raised by people who held beliefs, and those beliefs were shaped by what happened to your ancestors. You were raised by somebody whose mother and father felt certain ways, and they're not going to tell you that they felt that way. They're just going to feel that way, and you're going to know it, and you're going to inherit the burdens that they have in their energy. And you won't know that you've inherited them unless your family becomes very articulate about consciously pursuing the path of healing. And some cultures do. And they are well in their minds. So this is a system that helps people look at what their family has gone through and how that family experience has affected their decisions on a day-to-day basis. It separates you from the burden of having to solve your problem alone. It didn't start with you, but it can end with you, because this is the experience of arriving at the awareness of choice and free will.